Hi there, in this video we're going to look at how to change a fraction into a percentage and how to change a fraction into a decimal. We're going to do both in the same video because they're quite similar, and when you see how one works it helps how the other works. We will also look briefly at the bus stop method of division because division is required when doing this. So if we take a fraction, now let's say we have 3/5. Okay, the method for changing this fraction into a percentage, there are two steps to it. First, we take the top number and we multiply it by 100. Okay, you find with percentages you always use 100. Lots of different things if you're trying to find a percentage of something, if you're changing it into a fraction into a percentage like we're doing now, etc, etc, you almost always use the number 100. I try to remember that by thinking, what is the percentage most of us use most of the time? It's usually the battery on your mobile phone. What is it when it's full? It's 100%. So usually if you're doing something with percentages, there will be a 100 involved somewhere. So we times the top number by 100. In this case, 3 times 100 is of course 300. So I'll just put that here. And then the second step that you do, of course we have the bottom number down here, is you take whatever number you've just gotten, we've got 300, you divide it by the bottom. So our second step now is 300 divided by 5, and I'm going to use the bus stop method for that. 300 divided by 5. So 300 goes in the bus stop, 5 goes on the outside. And what we do, starting from the left, one by one, is we ask how many 5s can we fit into this number. So starting on the left, we've got the 3. How many 5s go into 3? And it is 0. 5 is too big. 5 does not fit into 3. Don't be tempted to swap it round and say 3's into 5 because that's wrong. It's how many 5s go into 3. None go in. So you see, are there any numbers left over? And in this case, there are 3 left over. There was a 3 there. We didn't do anything with it because we didn't put anything in it. So there are 3 remaining. They carry over to the next number. So this 0, we now call that 30. Okay, so it's not a 0 anymore. It's got the 3 that's carried along. It's 30. So now we say how many 5's into 30. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. The answer is 6. So we put a 6 on there. How many left over? None. That was a full 30, nothing. It wasn't 31, wasn't 32, so it's completely full. So now we move on to the final one, which is just 0. How many 5's go into 0? 0. Nothing goes into it. So we've got 0, 6, 0, or we could just read that as 60. Okay, 60%. Now, before we go any further, I just want to recap what we did. To change a fraction into a percentage, you multiply the top number by 100, and then you take your answer and you divide it by the bottom. Okay, so our fraction will have 3 at the top, 5 at the bottom. So we did 3 times 100, we got 300, and then we did 300 divided by 5, and we used the bus stop method to get that, and we got the answer 60%. So secondly, I want to show you how do we change that fraction into a decimal, and it's exactly the same except for one fewer steps. Okay, we don't times it by 100. That's the only thing different. We don't times it by 100, so we just go straight to the top number divided by the bottom. So in this case, 3 divided by 5. I'm going to use a different color just so you can see clearly this is something different. Okay, this is a little bit trickier, but I'm going to show you how we solve it. So we put our 3 inside the bus stop, and we put our 5 on the outside, and we start on the left. We say how many 5's go into 3? 0. Again, same as before. 5 is far too big, won't go in. So 0 there. We've got some which we need to carry along. There's some remainder, but we're a bit stuck. There are no more numbers. Where do we go? Well, all you do in this case, when you get to the end of the numbers and there's nothing to put, you add a decimal at the top and the bottom. It needs to be both. Okay, decimal there, decimal at the bottom, and you put a 0 at the bottom, and then you just carry on. Okay, so we said that 5 does not go into 3, so there would be 3 left over. That carries along here. So we go to the next number. How many 5's go into 30? Well, same as we did in the previous one. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. The answer is 6. Nothing left over, so we're finished. The answer is 0.6. Okay. Might be a little bit trickier, that one, it certainly is. So if you find you need to keep going, but there are no more numbers, you add a decimal at the top, a decimal at the bottom, along with a 0, and then you continue. But I just want to point something out before I finish. We had 60% and we had 0.6. Now, excluding any zeros or any decimals, the number will always be the same. We've got a 6 here, we've got a 6 there. Okay, if it was 40%, this would be 0.4. If that said 77%, this would say 0.77. You will always have the same numbers. Okay, if you don't, you might have made a mistake. Thank you very much.